Fallout as a word has two distinct definitions. Fallout could mean the residual radioactive particles that rain down from the atmosphere after a nuclear explosion, called fallout because it literally falls out of the sky as dust or precipitation. Or it could be a less climactic definition, which is the adverse side effect or result of a situation. Like, the fallout from that argument that I had with my boss is making work really miserable right now. As a game, Fallout represents both of these definitions. It is a post-nuclear role-playing game. It's right there in the title. Post-nuclear represents the world that you're in, a world ravaged by nuclear war. Bombs were dropped and ecosystems were destroyed and altered by radioactive debris and contamination, changing everything that was once familiar into something foreign, from livestock and chameleons to humanity itself, or maybe just exposing humanity for what it's always been. And role-playing game represents the second definition of Fallout, the adverse result of a situation, living with the consequences of your actions. It may be the second and less climactic definition of Fallout, but when it comes to the game, it is the more important of the two, and it's what makes Fallout Fallout. At least in regards to the first game, which follows the Vault Dweller and their miserable tale of rejection and hopelessness. Spoilers ahead for Fallout. The introduction to the game starts with a vinyl record static before the old-timey tunes of the Inkspots begins to play. A TV shows an advertisement of a happy cartoon man living inside of a vault, showing the vault of the future as nuclear explosions happen in the background, telling you to call now to reserve yours today. Following this advertisement is some war propaganda from Galaxy News Network, saying our dedicated boys keep the peace in newly annexed Canada, as it shows two soldiers double tapping a handcuffed man before cheerfully waving to the camera, all before telling you to buy some war bonds. Next up, a car commercial for a Chrysler Corvega sports car and a Mr. Handy cleaning robot, as the camera begins to pan out. This is the first glimpse that you ever get of the wasteland. This juxtaposition of ray gun gothic aesthetic, this retro futuristic pre-war life that is clearly what someone from the 50s thinks the future will look like. $200,000 sports cars being advertised that can go 0 to 60 in half a second, sitting within this apartment of a post-nuclear war ravaged city. The record scratches and the TV turns off and you're left with nothing but the wind before Ron Perlman's infamous opening lines.
War. War never changes. The Romans waged war to gather slaves and wealth. Spain built an empire from its lust for gold and territory. Hitler shaped a battered Germany into an economic superpower. But war never changes. In the 21st century, war was still waged over the resources that could be acquired. Only this time, the spoils of war were also its weapons: petroleum and uranium. For these resources, China would invade Alaska, the US would annex Canada, and the European Commonwealth would dissolve into quarreling, bickering nation-states bent on controlling the last remaining resources on Earth. In 2077, the storm of World War had come again. In 2 brief hours, most of the planet was reduced to cinders. And from the ashes of nuclear devastation, a new civilization would struggle to arise. A few were able to reach the relative safety of the large underground vaults. Your family was part of that group that entered Vault 13. Imprisoned safely behind the large vault door, under a mountain of stone, a generation has lived without knowledge of the outside world. Life in the vault is about to change.
Nothing about this intro is cute or funny or anything to take lightly. It's a message of despair and bleakness. It introduces you as the Vault Dweller, someone who knows nothing but life inside of Vault 13, until one day the overseer of your vault, the protector of all the people existing within its walls, asks you to save them. The water purification chip has gone bad. No more fresh water can be produced inside of the vaults, so the water that's left in the reserves is it, and it's looking to run out in about 150 days. You're asked to go out into the wasteland and find a new water chip to save your vault, your family, every single person that you've ever known. You're given the location of another vault located east of your location called Vault 15, and then you're shooed out the back door into a cave full of rats. And Ed's dead. And that's it. You either kill or run by the cave rats to the exit, where a Pip-Boy represents your reaction. To the west, you see a natural light. For the first time in your life, you're looking at the outside world. You're out on your own. Your first time in the real world. The Overseer has full faith in you to save the vault. You are the chosen one. But are you? Are you the first one sent out to complete this mission? Remember Ed? No time to think on that now. Focus on saving the vault. You set off to Vault 15, the only location in the world that you know. But on your way, you come across Shady Sands, a small farming community located just before Vault 15. Why not stop in and explore? After all, you have never met anyone outside of your vault. Encountering this community cements the tone of Fallout's wasteland. This is a community of people just scraping by, farming what they can in the desert, doing their best to fight off raiders and rad scorpions. Not surprisingly, two of the tasks that you can help them with if you choose to. The first one you'll likely help with is the rad scorpions. You're sent off to a cave full of them, and you could either kill them or just seal off the entrance to the cave, stopping them from attacking the town anymore. If you kill them, you can bring back a rad scorpion tail to the town's doctor for him to make an antidote that you can either keep for yourself or give to the dying man that's in the back room. You get involved with the raider problem after they kidnap Tandy, the daughter of Aradesh, who is the leader of Shady Sands. You're asked to rescue her. And there are like 7 different ways to get Tandy back from the raiders. Anything from killing all the raiders to dressing up just like one and pretending to be the leader's dad, who is supposed to be dead, and telling them to let her go. Or you can just not save her at all. Same with the rad scorpions. You could actually just totally ignore Shady Sands if you like to and go straight to Vault 15. The people of Shady Sands are living a rough life, exposed to the elements and victims to the wasteland. It's easy to look at them and think that they have it rough and they are in dire need because, well, they are, but so is everyone else, including you. The only reason that you're out here in the wasteland in the first place is because your vault will perish within the year due to lack of water. But where did these people of Shady Sands even come from? Well, they're from Vault 15. The vault that you're on your way to in hopes of finding a water chip. Vault 15 was opened like 80 years ago and suffered from overpopulation, so people left. Some people settled into what is now Shady Sands, and some others became raiders, a gang group of their own. Some people even stayed in the vault for shelter until it was attacked, and explosives absolutely wrecked the building, leaving most of the vault with rubble and dust. When your character reaches Vault 15 and discovers this desolation with nothing but mutant rats, it's just the first disappointment and setback of many in the game. This trend of hopelessness, gloom, and despair are consistent throughout the wasteland as you explore, and it's revealed to you that your quest for drinking water is relatively minor compared to the hardships that you come across on your travels. After realizing Vault 15 does not have the water chip, or at least one that you can access due to its state of destruction, you must venture out into the unknown of the wasteland. You don't know where to go at this point. You may have some locations marked on your Pip-Boy from conversations with people in Shady Sands, but you also may not, depending on what you've done. However, one of the most common next stops in the waste is Junktown. Junktown is one of the smaller towns in the wasteland. Most notably, it has a doctor, a general store, a hotel, and a casino. Like Shady Sands, if you go around asking, there is little information for a water chip, but plenty of work to be had if you're willing to help out. There's an ongoing feud between the town's supposed leader, Killian Darkwater, and the town's mob boss and owner of the casino, Gizmo. In fact, speaking with Killian the first time results in you being in the middle of an assassination attempt on his life. From here, you can help Killian prove Gizmo is behind this attempt and then deal some Old West justice for it, or you can side with Gizmo and get rid of Killian, allowing Gizmo to run the town. You can choose to take out a local gang or join them. You can come across some eerie things in the doctor's office, like Dr. Morbid and his dwarf assistant harvesting human flesh to sell as food, plus many other things to get into and explore. Further along your adventures in the wasteland, you come across the Hub, a large trading city. Here you have caravans, trading merchants, weapons and drug dealers, and many people to talk to in between. And like everywhere else, there's tons of people looking for your help. You can become a hired gun for the local mob boss, or report him to the police and take him out. You can purchase a water shipment to your vault, extending the time that you have to find a permanent chip, but this may result in some unwanted attention to your vault. You can help the Crimson Caravan find out why their caravans are going missing, and you can try to explain that it's not their competitors, but rather a Deathclaw. You can also confront a man selling iguana bits that don't quite look like iguana meat and come from a shady shipment directly from Doc Morbid's basement. However, if you talk to enough people here, you may find out about another town, Necropolis, a city of ghouls that is located on top of a vault, Vault 12. Necropolis on the surface is a town of hostile, feral, and non-feral ghouls, as well as some super mutants. Ghouls are people who have been succumbed to severe radiation exposure and are now disfigured and sometimes mentally compromised. Necropolis is the Wasteland's version of Bakersfield, and Vault 12 was built below Bakersfield pre-war. Unknown to everyone, including you at this time, vaults weren't just made for the safety of civilians during nuclear fallout. No, vaults were made to do experiments on people, and Vault 12 was designed to slowly leak radiation, to study the effects that it had on the people inside, and, well, it resulted in ghouls. Arriving to Necropolis, you are met with some hostile ghouls, before meeting two groups of more tolerant ghouls, Set and his crew, and the underground ghouls. Set is the leader of Necropolis and is very upset that super mutants are in his town and has no problem asking you to dispose of them. The super mutants are occupying the watershed of the town. It has a water pump that the town can survive off of, but unfortunately it's broken. They are using the water chip and supply from the vault underneath the city to survive, so here you are met with a conundrum. You can disregard the town and its occupants, take the water chip from Vault 12 and then go about your merry way, or you can repair their water pump before you do so. Again, the choice is up to you. This, however, is a choice that you need to make, as this is the water chip that you were after. You are taking the water chip, no question, but what you decide to do to help the city of Necropolis is left in your hands. Just like every other settlement situation you come across, you're met with decisions to make, and consequences of those decisions to reap. Whether or not you save Tandy or stop the raiders in Shady Stands, whether you help Gizmo or Killian in Junktown, whether or not you repair the water pump in Necropolis before taking their water chip, these decisions all impact the outcome of these settlements. Same with every other settlement or community that you come across, like the Boneyard, Brotherhood of Steel, or Followers of the Apocalypse. They all have decisions that legitimately change the ending to this story. No matter your decision, you are in possession of the water chip and you head back to your home, Vault 13, to save the day. Bringing back the water chip, you feel triumphant. After handing it over and discovering that it works like a charm, it's like there's a weight lifted from your shoulders. You did it. The Overseer asks you to log your journey in the Vault's library to document your adventure. This is bittersweet, as he reads your logs and discovers the unnerving reality of the wasteland, and in this reality, the looming threat of super mutants is concerning for him. He believes that they are being created somewhere due to their rapid population growth, and he worries that they'll find their way into the Vault and pose a dangerous threat. And of course, since you are the hero that saved the vault by bringing back the water chip, you are sent out again to shut down the super mutants and the person responsible for their creation. So just like that, you're banished again to the wasteland to stop another threat to your people's survival. After all that you've done, there's still more to do. Ideally, you will destroy the super mutant base and confront the master and his followers to destroy them as well. Easy peasy, right? Well, there are again some decisions to make along the way. Coming across the military base, you have the option to just join the super mutants. Their plan of creating a master race of humanity, a species that can thrive in the post-apocalypse condition of the world, ridding humanity of its differences and reasons for waging war against each other. Initially, this seems silly, but after all the despair and the corruption that you've seen so far in the wasteland, what if you fail to see any good left in humanity? What if you agree with their plan for unity and decide that humans' existence is futile? To lose hope, to subject yourself to the forced evolution virus and become a super mutant, to join in the ranks of forceful annihilation of humanity, including your own family in the vault. This is the bad ending, of course. Even through all the bad that you see, you're meant to find some glimmers of hope in the wasteland. Tandy from Shady Sands, the girl that you rescue from the raiders, she has a genuine passion for exploring the world and discovering anything it has to offer. Vree from the Brotherhood of Steel is a scribe who is passionate about amassing knowledge to pass down for generations, trying to build society back up from the ashes that it's in now. These little beacons of hope are there to give you faith in humanity, but that doesn't mean that there isn't a genuinely logical reason to choose the bad ending. Look at what humanity did with their chance with the world. They halfway destroyed it with nuclear weapons and war, constant conflict in society. I mean, it's not that hard to compare it to where we are today in real life. Who wouldn't want to give up and give the earth to something else? Why not super mutants? If you feel this way, you can actually end the game in like 5 minutes. You beeline directly to the military base from Vault 13, say, yo, what's up, you guys are cool, I'll join your movements, and then just like that, the singular hope for saving your vaults and many other communities is just an accelerant for the super mutants to demolish everyone. Taking this nihilistic approach is wrong, not just morally, but it's physically flawed. If you've picked Vree's brain enough in the Brotherhood of Steel, you will learn that super mutants are sterile. The FEV process takes away the ability to reproduce. Once all humans are succumbed to the transformation, that's it. No more. If you've learned this before confronting the master, you can avoid a big game ending boss fight by just telling him this. This breaks him. Someone who is so convinced that he is right and he's doing what's best for the world, his mission is futile. He learns that he is in fact the bad guy. And he tells you to leave before setting the place to explode, killing himself, his super mutants, and his followers all in one go, saving humanity in the most melancholy way possible. So you've decided to go with hope. The story canon follows this way, obviously. The super mutant base and the master are destroyed. This is the end of the game, and you're met with the now iconic ending slideshow of Fallout, going over your travels, every decision you've made one way or another, and the result of your interference or avoidance of an issue. It lets you know how the world goes on after you left an impact on a place, and what butterfly effect you may have caused with your presence, giving you the impression that you have left a mark after your adventures. Does Shady Sands thrive with both Tandy and Aradesh alive, eventually becoming the NCR in later games? Or do the raiders just take over and burn the little settlement to the ground? Does Killian or Gizmo run Junktown? Killian leaving the town just and fair, or does Gizmo continue to peddle gambling and other addictions to people, growing both his wealth and his waistband? The hub either thrives or disperses. Necropolis becomes pioneers of engineering after learning the ins and outs of their water pump, teaching other settlements the way to clean water. or they succumb to dehydration if you never help them repair it in the first place. The canon ending, of course, has all of these places thriving and continuing to grow after you help them along their way. But what happens to you, the Vault Dweller?
Only a single question remained unanswered. What happened to you?
You've done it. That's wonderful, amazing. I'm so proud of what you've accomplished, what you've endured. There's no way the people of the Vault can ever thank you enough for what you've done. You've saved all our lives. Who knows? Maybe even saved the human race. Yes. That makes the rest of this even harder. Everyone will want to talk to you. Every youngster will look up to you and want to emulate you. And then what? They'll want to leave. What happens to the Vault if we lose the best of a generation? What if we are the only safe place in the world? You just gave us back all these lives. I can't take the chance of losing them. I've made a lot of tough decisions since I took this position, but none of them harder than this one. You saved us, but you'll kill us. I'm sorry. You're a hero, and you have to leave.
No matter how much you've done to help not only your Vault, but everyone else that you've met, you are exiled. Kicked to the curb. That's it. Your entire journey to save your Vault, your victories or failures are thrown in your face, but even though you are successful in what you tried to do for your community and your family, you are banished from your home. For the Overseer to turn around and tell everyone that you died in the harsh wasteland to prevent any other strong souls from wanting to leave the Vault. Your adventure through despair and hopelessness is rewarded with exile. And with your head hung, you walk away. That's where this story ends, at least in this game. Betrayed and grief-stricken, set forth with a future unknown. Fallout 2 reveals the Vault Dweller founded a settlement named Aurora, and the player character in Fallout 2 is the grandson of the Vault Dweller. But that's a story for another time. There is a little sense of retribution that you can possibly get in this game, and that's if you take the Bloody Mess perk at the beginning of the game. After the Overseer banishes you, you shoot him nearly in half with a gruesome hit before walking away into the sunset. The Vault Dweller's story is that of grief and despair. From beginning to end, it's depressing. There are highs and lows, but the highs are quick peaks that are quickly snatched away from you. The atmosphere of Fallout made this game one of the best stories of post-apocalypse fiction and a sturdy foundation for a franchise to build on, even if some of the games in later dates strayed off from the course. Fallout is a wonderful game. Even though it's bleak and frustrating, it's one of the greatest games that I've ever played. It's not really inviting to play given modern gaming standards, but with a good strategy guide and the game's manual by your side, you can start taking the wasteland to make your own story and experience your own depressing adventure as the Vault Dweller.